Welcome to episode 2 of this DxO tutorial series. In episode 1, we had a look at the interface and understood how it was arranged. In this episode, we're going to dive a little deeper into the customization tab and see how that is organized and how we can actually organize that tab to suit us. In fact, we are going to create our own workspace. So I'm going to show you first of all, how to manage and create palettes. We'll explore all the built-in workspaces, that is DxO Standard and DxO Advanced. And by the end, you will understand how you can organize the tools to suit your workflow. So without further ado, let's make a start. I've just started DxO PhotoLab and immediately come into the photo library. I've selected an image at the bottom on the film strip and now clicking the Customize tab. Before I do, just notice the options in the top menu. That's File, Edit, View, Image, DxO Modules and Help. When I click on Customize, you'll also see two more options, that's Palettes and Workspace. These two menus we'll have a look at today. So in the Palettes menu, you can see all the active palettes have a tick alongside them. And if, for example, I click Metadata, that appears on the left-hand side. Let's untick that for a moment. And all of these palettes are immediately available when we're working in the workspace DxO Standard. On the right-hand side, you can see the basic tools that are available under DxO Standard. If you're using PhotoLab Elite, you'll also see panels for Viewpoint and Film Pack. If you don't use those panels, then you can delete them. So I'm just going to get rid of Viewpoint. And if you made a mistake, you can go back to the Palettes menu and select Viewpoint. And it will reappear. So we're going to be working with the panels on the right-hand side. We don't need the panels on the left, so by clicking this arrow here, we can open up the space, make it a little bit cleaner. So let's have a look at the workspace DxO Standard. And if we go to the right-hand side, we can see that there's a panel of basic tools, a viewpoint panel, and a film pack panel. Within the basic tools are things like white balance, exposure, and so on. All of those basic things that you might need to deal with in an image. Those marked as blue with this blue button here means that white balance has been set. If I click the button, I've unset white balance. If I click it back on again, it reverts to the previous setting or the original setting. The same thing with exposure. So it's quite useful to see how an image has changed just by clicking the blue button. Anyway, above the basic tools panel, there's a search box where I can search for particular tools. So for example, let's search for exposure. And immediately below I can see the exposure control under global settings, and for local adjustments that's also exposed. So you can search for any tool. Underneath that is a ribbon of groups of tools. So the first one is to do with light, The second one is to do with color. The third one is to do with detail. The fourth for geometry. And the fifth for effects. The one to the far right hand side, which is slightly separated, is for local adjustments. So you could use this panel to navigate your way to various tools that you might want to use. Now there are 4 other things to just have a look at in this right hand set of panels. All in the top right corner. Pressing the reset button removes all manual modifications. Sometimes there are automatic modifications and they're not included, but you can remove all manual modifications. You can also apply a preset. And you can also bring all of your favorite tools together in one list. Another useful tool is that sometimes you are only interested in particular tools that you've used. For example, we haven't used contrast in this image. If I click on this button here, it will just bring together all of the active changes that I've made, or the active tools that are being used. Okay, so far we've explored the basic tool set under DxO Standard, the ribbon or groups of tools. We can search for particular tools. We can list our tools as favorites. Oh, by the way, if you want to include a favorite tool, just click on one of the stars here. It's as simple as that. And we can find all the active tools in this particular edit for this image. But there's another workspace, and this is DxO Advanced. And you click on Workspace, DxO's Advanced. It all changes to show you all of the tools grouped together as you might expect. Now that's quite a big long list. What you can do is to click on the black bar of a group, such as geometry here, and it will minimize it for you. So you don't have to have everything open. Now I hope that's been pretty straightforward. There are a large number of tools in PhotoLab, many of which you probably wouldn't use from day to day. They have been grouped into particular orders that are helpful, such as a DxO Standard Workspace for you and a DxO Advanced Workspace. Plus, of course, you can make use of the ribbon as well. So there are various ways to navigate to particular tools that you might want to use. Now, having said that, wouldn't it be great if you could organize your own workspace? A workspace that followed the way that you like to work, your workflow. Well, bear with me, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. It involves a palette and a new workspace. When creating your own workspace, it's probably best to make sure that you are in the DxO Advanced Workspace. And just for simplicity, we'll close the left-hand suite of panels. We don't need those at all. And on the right-hand side, we've got all of our tools exposed. Now, some of these panels, just click on them to close them down. That's a left click. We'll probably be extracting tools from each of these panels. Now the first thing we need to do is to create a palette. So let's go to Palettes, create User Palette, and I'm going to call this My Workflow. And you see the palette has appeared on the bottom right down here. I can now drag whatever tools I want from the advanced list into this panel. So let's first of all, we'll pop in the working color space, number 1. Underneath that we'll have color black and white rendering, because that's all about the camera. So that goes in there. I think we also need to have lens sharpness optimization, because that's part of a DxO module for the lens, as well as distortion, and similarly for vignetting. Where's vignetting? Here we are. So it's a left click, drag it down to the bar where you want to position it. When the bar goes white, release the left click. Now, after those sort of basic settings, I will normally include things like smart lighting. Excellent tool, smart lighting. I might include Clearview Plus. Don't use it every time. Certainly selective tone. In fact, I'm going to put that above Clearview Plus but below smart lighting, because that's an order I normally work in. And similarly for exposure, let's bring that down to there. Anything else I might add? Well, I'd certainly add horizon and crop. So let's drag horizon. Normally I would do that after vignetting, I guess, really. And also crop, because I'll do that after horizon, because inevitably when you change the horizon you have to crop the image a little bit further. And then I'm going to add finally denoise. Now that's my complete palette for my workflow. Now annoyingly, you can't click and drag that palette to the top, which would make some sense. You actually have to left click and drag the other palettes below the one you want at the top. And of course you can put these in any order, but I'm just going to stick with this order. In fact, I probably wouldn't use instant watermarking, so we'll get rid of that altogether. Similarly, viewpoint, come down, I might use film pack. Okay, that's my workspace all organized. Now, I do need to save the workspace. Just because I've created a palette, I do need to save the workspace. So it's back to the workspace menu, down to save workspace. And I'm just going to call this my workspace. Save. Now that will appear in the workspace menu now, and you can see it's been selected. So I could go to DxO Standard, and it changes the workspace. I could go to Advanced, of course, or go back to my own workspace, which notice it has not included left panels because I didn't have them included. So in order to create your own workflow, all you have to do is create a palette, add the tools to the palette, organize the palettes as you would like them, and then save the workspace for use later. But of course, I've forgotten two things. I haven't included white balance in my workflow list, so let's include that. And I'll put that just underneath vignetting. And I haven't got a histogram, which I use quite a lot, so I need to drag that across. So it's just left click and drag. Pop that in there. Let's close that. And now I'm going to need to reorder my panels. So I want the histogram at the top. So my workflow panel underneath, followed by light, color, detail, geometry, local adjustments, and the film pack. Now that's much better. Let's open this up, and I've got all the tools that I'm likely to use for most images, and I've got my histogram. The only thing left to do now is to resave that workspace. So I'm on my workspace, click Save Workspace, Save, and we're done. So here's the DxO Standard Workspace, and here's my workspace. Perfect. Now, I hope you haven't found that too complicated. It was a bit of a swift tour around the customization tab and all the different options and workspaces that are available to you. Right, next week we're going to actually put this information into practice. We will import a few images into PhotoLab. We'll organize a project. We'll do some really basic editing on a particular image, and I'll show you how to save and export that image. So I hope that's been very helpful and useful to you. Any questions, as ever, pop them in a comment below and I'll be sure to reply. For the moment, until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.